Hey guys, I got some upcoming wrestling shows in Chicago, Gainesville, and Austin, and live comedy shows in Newport and Cardiff, Wales, and of course the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland, all of August. Check out those dates, ColtCabana.com. Enjoy some shows. But for now, enjoy this show.
This is The Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
It's Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a live podcast. It's personal journals and entry way into the minds and souls, the hearts and lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I'm a jet setter. I'm a jet skier. No, I haven't gone jet skiing in a long time. Those were the days when I lived in Tampa, Florida, and I went to FCW wrestling school for 1 year. But those days are behind me, and now I'm an Australian man who will hopefully be jet skiing in Australia. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am sitting here live in my studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. Give it to you free of charge every single Thursday. ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend. Facebook it out. Tweet it out. Best way that you can support, ColtMerch.com. T-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads, wrestling road diaries, 1 through 3, micro brawlers, buttons, the works. ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com. All right, I got my first Hawaiian on the show, and you might be saying to yourself, Colt, you never had Cufa the Flying Hawaiian from IWA Mid-South Days on? No, I didn't have him on, but I have Jeff Cobb on. And yes, Cufa the Flying Hawaiian, who we knew because he was friends with Chris Hero, originally from the Ohio area, if you chanted his name, Cufa, 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 Q. Fuck you, right? You see how that works? That was always a little fun. I mean, I was 20 when I met Cufa the Flying Hawaiian. And that joke was the greatest joke I'd ever heard from an inside joke of a professional wrestler. And you know what? I'm 37 years old right now, and I still think it's great. But I also think that Jeff Cobb is on the show, and I think he is great. I was excited to have him on. He was excited to be on the show. I remember I did a live show with him at South by Southwest. He was one of 4 guests, I believe, I had on, along with Doug Benson, Blue Pants, and Chris Cubis. Oh, and Mike Eagle. 5 guests. I'll take that back. And he was super confused. He thought we were doing a full podcast in front of people and had no clue what was going on when Doug Benson was in front of him talking about weed and wrestling movies. So this one made a little more sense, and he was in. And one of the interesting things is, and we can't go back and re-podcast. That's just impossible. I will not have it that way. But he starts kind of getting into his life in Hawaii, and it was pretty capable of being grim and like shitty. And afterwards he's like, I don't want to get deep into it. I don't want to bum all your listeners out. And I was like, oh, Jeff, that's what we like. Pluck at our strings. Everybody likes a good hero's way up story, starting at the bottom. Now we're here. So you'll hear some flashes of those, and you'll be impressed how far Jeff Cobb has come. And that he's killing it right now on the scene. Totally killing it. Doing great. And you know what I love about Jeff Cobb is I maybe I'm weird because I'm talking about dudes' bodies, but like I have this is not shame, but this is just the way my head works. And that's something in my head, I guess, from a very young wrestling age, because I've always been body conscious, never been happy with the way I look. And I kind of love the fact that the indies have always just been about whoever gets over, gets over. And Jeff, has this fun shape to him. It's awesome. And you know what? He could do whatever he wants. The guy was an Olympian. I believe it. He's legit. And I think the same goes for all these other guys. It's like El Generico. Sure, he was a little lanky, but just the way he moved in the ring and the way he did it, and he still looked like a wrestler. And Kevin Steen, but you're just like, Kevin Steen could kick the shit out of anyone, or you would believe that he could, and the way he talked and the way he presented himself. And even Hero, even Big Chris. All those people were shaming away, but he was just killing it and doing amazing. Didn't stop his game at all. And that's our scene. That's our wrestling scene. And the cool thing is now the mainstream scene is kind of like accepting of it. And so a lot of these guys who would never have gotten a look at before now do. And they get an opportunity to make a lot more money, and they get an opportunity to be the stars that 15 years ago, the big boys would have laughed at and wouldn't have even had on the show. And now the world gets to see that they're great. But you can only say that so many times before people are like, yeah, we get it. The indies are great. The indie wrestlers are great. You're championing them. We get it. Okay, fine. I'm done. Just saying, Jeff Cobb looks awesome. throws people around, so strong, sweet look, sweet dude. And sure, he's no cue for the Flying Hawaiian, but he tries. Okay, I am talking to you right now from Chicago, Illinois. In 3 hours, I'm going to get on a plane, and then 2 days later, I am going to land in my final destination of Australia. I didn't want to get to Australia and do the podcast, so my plan is to do it in Chicago. I'll edit it on the plane, and then I'll put it out when I land. I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans to be had on this tour. If you're from Australia and you're not going to one of these shows, Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, I don't know what's wrong with you. Tommy Dreamer, M-Dog, Jake Swagger, that's what I've decided his name is, and I'm going to tell him that. Jack Swagger, his real name is Jake Hager. Why wouldn't you just be Jake Swagger? At AAW, he was just formerly known as Jack Swagger. Jake Swagger, that's a great name. I mean, it's not a great name, but we all get it. You're Jake Swagger now. Okay, he'll be there. Young Bucks, Bull Dempsey, MVP, just a legend list. I think I'm doing podcasts out there. People don't tell me anything. I'm just going with the flow. I hope so. That's the point. I need these live shows to put out when I'm at the Fringe. So that's where I'm going to be. This past week, IWC Super Indie. A lot of great talent on that show. I was part of the very first Super Indie talent. They were like, this is Super Indie 16. And then they showed me the DVD of the first one. I was like, fuck, I was on that first one with all these other dudes. And now a good crop of talent. Congratulations, Adam Cole beat Jonathan Gresham in a very fun match. And then I had another fun match. First of all, I wrestled Joey Janela at IWC. Very fun. But I also wrestled Orange Cassidy at Breaking the Barrier for Powerbomb.tv. And you can watch that if you want for free. They'll give you a free 10-day trial, Powerbomb.tv. Use the code COLT. I don't know. Use something. He is so funny. If you don't know his character or his wrestling style, he's just like a dude I don't give a fuck. And that's what I love about wrestling is that, like, if you give me something fun to do, I can play with it. And then he's got his character down, I've got my character down. And then what strikes my brain is the creativity of molding our brains together and coming up with fun stuff. So, like, that's how I get inspired, is if, like, okay, here's the guy who does this thing. Oh, what am I going to do? How can I do stuff? How can we make this funny? How can we laugh? And there's one incident in the match, and you can go watch it, where I laughed for real. I laughed for real for, I'd say, a legit 10 seconds, which is a long time in a wrestling match. If it's a 9-minute, 10-minute match, 10 seconds is a long time. And I was just laughing. I looked down and he sees me laughing and he starts laughing. He's covering his mouth and there's nothing I could do. And that was real joyous laughter. And it made my heart smile, made my cheeks smile, and my cheeks hurt from smiling. And that was a culmination of everything I love, laughing and wrestling and comedy and good times. So thank you for that, Powerbomb TV. Breaking the Barrier was the show. And years ago, 1999, that was like the first, not the first, but that was like a super indie show. And I remember that's how like Mike Quackenbush made his break. And they had matches from every different indie and different styles. And this was kind of the same thing. And it was very cool. All right, I've talked too much. Let's do a Song of the Week. The Song of the Week this week is sponsored by a new sponsor, HelloFresh, and they say they are on a mission to save home cooking. Good for you, HelloFresh. They're farm to box, they're couch to kitchen, and they're fork to feel good. They're fresh, they're convenient, and they are delicious. Here's the options that you could choose from. They got a classic box, a veggie box, and a family box. 3 to 5 meals per week, designed for 2 or 4 people. You can choose whatever you want. They do new recipes each week. HelloFresh is the meal kit delivery space that makes cooking for fun so you can focus on the whole experience. Step-by-step instructions that won't take you more than 30 minutes, and it's so easy, anyone can do it. The meals, they're delivered in a recyclable insulated box, and it's free shipping. They just introduced a breakfast option. Nice. Also, light and spring meals. Coolest part, it's less than $10 a meal. Do some math, save some money. Delicious ingredients you'll love to eat. Simple recipes you'll love to cook. Let's get cooking. For $30 off your first week of deliveries, go to HelloFresh.com and enter the code COLT30. That's COLT30 at HelloFresh.com and start cooking from home. Song of the Week is my Seattle friends, who I just saw in Seattle at 321 Battle, although I think they're moving back east. But they are cheap pop, and they're indie, and they're awesome. You can get their all-wrestling-inspired album in Gorilla at cheappop.bandcamp.com. Follow them on Twitter and Facebook. Cheap Pop is a band. They just gave me a sticker. I put it on my gimmick bag. They gave me a t-shirt. Gonna wear it to the gym. This song is called JBL's Flask. Enjoy it, and we'll be back with Jeff Cobb.
It's Colt Cabana.
Are you prepared?
I am prepared.
You look like a mess.
I feel like shizzles.
Do you?
No.
Do you also not swear and only say shizzles?
No, I curse every so often, especially when I get gypped out on intermission picture money.
Can I say this right off the bat?
Fire away.
I think gypped is an incorrect word.
Fudged?
Fudged. Gypped is a bad word. You know that?
Is it really?
Yeah.
I had no clue.
I think it's insensitive to gypsies.
Well, I apologize to all my gypsy friends out there.
Do you have any?
None at all.
We might. I feel I do.
Okay, well, I apologize to all your gypsy friends.
And all the wrestling. I feel you do too. You just don't know.
Well, please don't send me hate direct messages.
What's the slang for hatred on your people?
For Hawaiians?
And what are you?
Filipinos. Flips is the thing.
Do you get upset when there's a wrestler named Flip Kendrick?
No, but I did give Flip Gordon shit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like offended. Take that off your trunks.
Because it says flips.
Yeah, and he said, what? I just said, I'm just messing with you.
And what about Hawaiians? Do Hawaiians have bad words?
Not that I'm aware of, because everybody's afraid of him. Everybody's afraid of Maui from Moana, so, and The Rock. So they dare not say anything.
I didn't see it.
Okay, well, that was on Airplane.
It was an airplane movie.
Airplane movie. Had to watch it.
You got boombazzled.
One of the three guys.
By the way, tonight was like the perfect, like, hey, this is independent wrestling, people. Like, if you don't know what independent wrestling is, like our lives, like together, it's the idea that Jeff Cobb wins a random tag team championship belt in the middle of Missouri because of a run-in from Ron Simmons.
What are the odds? Like that's definitely going in my autobiography.
And then an intermission, can you get in the ring and take pictures with Ron Simmons, Jeff Cobb, your partner
Blaster,
and then also I saw my new friend Serge in there from Memphis, who's like a 55-year-old like grizzled Memphis guy, just made his way into the ring. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, was he the one in the underwear?
Yes.
Oh, the wrestler guy. Yeah.
The Zubaz guy.
Yeah. It was interesting, and the Ron ran away from him. But he wanted to take a picture
of
with
the Ron.
No, Ron.
Okay.
We're on a first name basis.
Now that's your buddies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I heard him say, you want to be champion for a day 76 times.
While taking those pictures.
76 times.
Now, in his head, is he like, do you think... So he's in the ring taking pictures, and every time somebody comes up, he says to him, hey, you want to be champion for the day? Pretty
much. Yeah. And then we put the belt on his or her shoulder, and then we take pictures.
And then he gets all the money, and you've been scammed by the man.
Man, I could have been out there making thousands at the merch table.
Do you think that Ron Simmons, like in his head, is like? Do you think he's like, fuck? I gotta say, you want to be a champ for the day every time, or do you think? Do you know what I'm saying? Or is it just like automatic?
I think he's pretty genuine, especially with the kids. He seemed pretty genuine.
So he really wants to know if they want to be the champ.
Yeah.
Because, like he's been through that scenario 8 billion times.
Probably. Especially now because he has that sweet-ass Hall of Fame ring that he has on, that he wore while we were taking pictures.
Would you see it?
I was trying to get a glimpse. I didn't want to just grab his hand and look at it. It's kind of weird.
I don't know.
Hey.
Give it a go.
Like
I feel
Ron,
you can buy one on eBay.
I read that someone tried to sell
Billy Graham, I think, is trying to get
I thought Sonny tried to sell hers.
Sonny probably tried to sell her, get rid of hers.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy it.
Well, if you want a better look at it. We've both been traveling a lot. I guess I was listening to your schedule. You were telling me, and especially tomorrow, you're flying out too, and especially as a West Coaster. I mean, I just came from like the far east side of Canada, and then I came in here, and I was explaining to people my schedule, and they were just blown away by it. But I'm just like, I don't know. What else am I going to do? Is that like, you were zigzagging. What were you, Seattle to?
No, I was in L.A. at PWG last night, or 2 nights ago, I guess.
Whenever. This will air in a couple weeks.
Okay, and then, and then Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and then back to Sacramento tomorrow.
Yeah. Have you, like... Is it new? Is it still new to you, or are you a little sick of it yet, or?
I'm getting sick at my inability to plan correctly. Instead of zigzagging, I got to get better at
But
that.
I don't think that's how it works, though. I think in our world, like we just jump at whoever's going to give us a date, and you just think to yourself, like, because let's say if it was like, even I've done Seattle to Florida before, and I've like made it work, and you think about the time zones. that's literally crossing the whole
Right.
country. So in my head, it's like, well, if we can cross the country and make it, I'm able to make the show. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you're like, well, it's a 6-hour flight, but there's a 3-hour time difference.
Right.
And I land at 2, shows at 7.
And then
yeah.
the next day I'll get on the flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
you
guess
think
so.
in your head that you'll be able to like control where your shows are?
I try to. I really do try because like there's a couple times where I'm like, well, I got this date open. Let me see what's around the area.
Right.
And then I end up taking a booking that's nowhere near where I need to be, and then I hate myself when I'm sitting and trying to sleep on an airplane,
Yeah.
taking a joyride selfie. It's not working. So
Well, that's the life. You're a little new to it in this life. I mean, right? Because this life of a cross-country flyer.
yeah, I mean, just recently, I guess. So
But you seem to tack on the miles, and because you're so far away, you're always doing cross-country distances.
for the most part, for the most part.
But you're okay with it so far.
I'm totally fine with it. Check back with me in about 6
I know.
months.
I was gonna say maybe a couple. I mean, because I don't know. It's weird for me because. So like if I was on WWE for like 2009, and then after that I restarted back with this, and then I think when this podcast started 2010, I started to really pick up like kind of demand, and so that's when I started kind of like taking everything, and so essentially it's been like 6.5 years of constantly like every week, this crazy schedule that now, and I think I don't know like. And sometimes it's like you get home from Japan and then 2 days later you go right to England or something crazy like that. And to me, it hasn't gotten awful. And I just always think like, well, it could be worse, right?
I mean, to be honest, like it's not like the glamorous life, but I love it, and it beats working 9 to 5.
That's what I say. Also, there's something about you when you said, "Can I sleep on your floor?" that says you're very low maintenance.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And it has nothing's. I think nothing's gotten to your head yet, which seems nice. As he looks at himself,
Shorts and a t-shirt and
Right.
slippers.
But I think there's a difference of people who like have demands and people who are just like, yeah, I'll sleep on your floor. I don't give a fuck. Like, let's just get this done, or let's go where we got to go, or be where we got to be. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that too. Like, I definitely want to do your podcast. So, and I
But
prefer.
even
Yeah.
it's not that.
Yeah,
it just says something.
Yeah, I don't really care for. I mean, you don't have to give me a suite or anything. Just a bed, a bed and a shower. A shower is mainly what I really care for.
Really, I was gonna say a bed is what I care about.
Well, I mean, we get to like for tonight. Like, I get to enjoy it for like 2 hours, and then I'm out on a shuttle.
Yeah, but I don't know how you are, and we could talk about this. And I don't want to out myself as like the grossest man ever, but I'm fine with not taking a shower after a match and going and flying to the next town.
I just hate for example, the night before I was at PWG, I didn't get a chance to shower. I just wiped down and then hopped in a plane, and I just it's
and
that's
flew
just
7 hours.
Yeah, it's just me. I just feel
Now,
weird.
do you feel bad for yourself or the people around you? See, because
no. I mean, I have like spray that I can spray on that smells great.
Yeah.
But I just feel dirty.
See, I feel bad for the people around if that's the case. Like that's because I'm a good-hearted person. I don't want them to feel bad.
Well, sprays work wonder too.
What was that? Oh my god!
No, my phone's off. That's in the hallway.
Oh, there's some gangster rap going in the hallway. Who's playing me? I guess maybe people partying. Okay, so let's talk about. I mean, we talked a little bit on the podcast about it, but I kind of want to get a little bit deep into everything, which is fun. Hawaiian born.
Yes, sir.
And then you said you lived in Guam for a hot second.
About 10 years.
Okay. When did you move to Guam?
94.
How old? Give me a reference.
6th grade?
Okay.
6th grade. Going into 6th
That's
grade.
when Allie Nussbaum moved.
Okay. There you go.
We talked about it.
Yes.
She's my friend
Oh, yeah.
from
You're
Guam.
you're one. Well, technically now you have 2.
Yes.
But you're first and one friend.
Well, no, she was from Deerfield, and then she moved to Guam.
Yeah, so technically she's from Guam
You might have
now.
went to school with her. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so Hawaiian born. Okay, take me. Like I said, I've never been to Hawaii. What part of Hawaii are you from? Like, what's it like? Is it every stereotypical thing I'm thinking in my head?
No, it's a lot. Well, where I was living was Oahu, which is where like the Pearl Harbor and Waikiki is. But for the most part, like Waikiki is very stereotypical, like with the touristy and stuff and whatnot. But I lived away from that stuff. So it's like for us, like to go visit and get away from that is one thing. So I wasn't around it too much because I was living away from that stuff.
So what does that mean? Like the suburbs, or like in a hut? I don't know. Like
I guess the suburbs, not a hut, but an actual house.
An actual house
Yes.
with like real air conditioning.
We had we had air conditioner.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like Hawaii has that nice ocean breeze, so you don't really need it that often.
Does it look like a suburban like neighborhood? Like what's the neighborhood look like?
Yeah, just a regular. Like honestly, it just looks just like if we drove around St. Louis or something, and found some houses and just. But yeah, for the most part, it's made out of wood.
All right,
wood houses. Yeah,
and then a normal like childhood, a normal.
Normal childhood. Mom, dad, brothers, older brother. Later on, younger sister, younger brother.
So 4 kids in the family.
Yep, total.
And were you? So the cool thing about you is you were an Olympic wrestler. So you were an amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
I assume. Right?
Yes.
Did you, or did you just go right to the Olympics?
That was mine right there.
Hoping to go. Were you obsessed? Were you obsessed with pro wrestling?
I was. I remember back in the days, I used to watch. Well, I used to stay up late for primetime wrestling because with the time difference in Hawaii, it came on like around 11 o'clock, I believe.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I begged my dad or mom to stay up, but for the most part, I fell asleep because I was young at the time. So I watched. In Hawaii, WWF at the time was like the number one thing. You could catch NWA a little bit. They did the ESPN. I think that was like a
global.
Global.
It was on after school for us.
Yeah.
At 3, so it was on at like dinner time for you or something.
No, yeah. I think it was the repeats I caught for the most part, and also I remember watching Glow.
Yeah,
like Farmer's Daughter, and and then obviously living in Hawaii.
How old are you?
I am 34.
34. Okay, I was gonna say I thought you maybe were a scooch younger, but these are the same memories that I have. Like I remember going to Florida at my grandma's and Glow would pop on, and you watch it because it's wrestling, right?
Yeah, I watch it because it's wrestling, and then Farmer's Daughter was like,
oh, you were super.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, but I feel I was young when that was stuff like to even be sexualized by it.
Well, I thought it was just like, wow, she's pretty.
Yeah. You weren't too second. Just you thought she was
nothing like that. I was just like,
and
wow,
Big Bad Mom. What about Big Bad Mama?
She was scary. Wasn't she in Married with Children?
That's why I remember.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I feel we have very similar our thought process and what we watched. And
yes,
saw. Yeah. So it was. I mean, was there wrestling fever on the island?
Yeah, WWF used to come over quite a few times a year, like 2 or 3 times a year at the time. Mm-hmm. Now not so much. I believe they come like maybe once a year. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, like 2 or 3 times a year. I remember because I used to go to every single one of them.
Who'd you go with?
My dad, my cousins, my grandpa, my mom.
Did they like it, or they go because you liked it?
My dad. Oh, me and my dad used to watch wrestling together.
Okay.
And my cousins did too. So like they all liked it. My mom just went just to go.
Did you start watching wrestling because your dad watched wrestling?
No, I just remember watching it. I remember we had WrestleMania 1 on VHS. WrestleMania 3 was on Betamax. Don't ask how. I have no idea how that. Yeah, isn't it? But I just remember WrestleMania 3 was on Betamax. WrestleMania 1 was on VHS. 1 and 2 were on VHS. So I just remember that. I just remember watching it. And
it's so weird that if you're 34, I'm about to be 37, and I remember I remember being 5 and my friend had Betamax, but that technology had kind of died by then. So it was like almost like ancient. Unless is it a little behind the times in Hawaii? Do you guys like? I don't know.
I don't think it. I don't think it is. I feel
that.
Much.
I feel by the time I was 7 or 8, like Betamax wasn't even like a thing.
Yeah. Well, we just had it, but for the most part, growing up, I remember VHSs were the thing, but we still had, for some odd reason, WrestleMania 3 on Betamax. I have no idea how.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
I don't even know that they put it out.
Oh, it was recorded.
Oh, ooh.
I pirated, so everything you saw on that beginning screen of a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Please don't sue me.
I think you'll be all right. Well, okay. I don't know. Just say allegedly.
Allegedly.
This podcast doesn't have the best reputation, so be careful. And then Did you do amateur wrestling because you wanted to be a pro wrestler?
I did. I started my freshman year in high school. I saw
Really?
Yeah.
And you made it to the Olympics as a.
Yeah.
I
go
feel these
figure.
people start at like 4, right?
So for most people do. For some, I don't know. I just kind of got. I guess I was kind of natural, like a natural at it. I guess. I mean,
How come you didn't start before then?
when I was in Hawaii, they didn't. I didn't know of wrestling as a youth. Like I never played any organized sports or anything like that. I started in high school. So
Oh, after I guess when you went to Guam, huh?
yeah.
So why'd you guys move to Guam again?
Well, my parents were kind of going through hard times. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it now because I feel like it's inspirational for like kids out there. But there was a part where like kind of drugs kind of played a factor into it, and then we just kind of lost almost everything. So we went,
shit.
yeah, we moved to Guam. My mom's side was, or my mom's side's from there. So my grandmother on my mom's side said, "Come on over, you know, when you get back on your feet." And
So people got into drugs.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And the family started falling apart.
yeah.
Did you recognize that, or were you too young to see what was going on?
I was too young, but I mean, as I got older, I kind of realized I was like, you know, living like my 4th grade year. I remember living in my dad's truck and hotels, and I was like, this is kind of weird. Like at the time, I was kind of embarrassed because I was like, you know, if people were like, hey, can I come over? I'm like, you know, it's gonna be tough, but I mean,
So,
yeah.
so like you lost the house
Yeah.
essentially. And then they were trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I just remember like we lost our first house, and then we kind of bounced around a little bit, and then we got another house, and then we kind of lost that, and then that was like right after my 3rd grade year, and then 4th grade year, we ended up going from like hotels to trucks, and
Oh Lord! So that's where that's where the idea of like I could sleep on your floor if you like.
I mean, yeah,
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
I mean, well, I remember as a kid, I was like kind of spoiled, like when we had a place.
Betamax is up the wazoo. Like, it was
Wall to wall Betamaxes. No, but I mean, I like if I asked for an action figure, I got them, like Ninja Turtles and WWF and WCW
And
action
then
figures.
did there come to a point where then when you asked for them, then you couldn't have it, or did
Yeah, well,
did
I mean,
you
no,
realize
well-
the situation?
Well, like my mom and dad. Well, at the time when this all was going on, my older brother graduated high school. He's 10 years older than I am, and he moved off. And then it was just my mom, my dad, and myself. So at that time, like they did everything in their power to give me what I asked for. Even though now I look back, I was like, man, I was like a little runt.
Shithead, right?
Yeah, I was a shithead. I'll say it.
So you got So you moved to Guam to try to redo your life. Was that successful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
I
they
mean-
patch stuff together? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple rough patches here and there, but I mean, you know, it's a tough thing to kick, I guess, and then, but I mean, we're okay now, I guess.
So, I mean, so then you lived with just family and stuff in Guam. Is that how that?
Yeah, it was just my grandmother at the time, and she had a 4-bedroom house,
worked? Okay.
so we moved in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you were set then.
Yeah.
Everything was good. And then you realized that there was high school wrestling.
Yes. Didn't know about that. I mean, like in Guam, I don't even think they had middle school programs or elementary school. If there was, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I knew less about Hawaii, something I know less about would be the Guam. Like, what's Guam known for? What's the vibe? Again, I've never been, or I couldn't even tell you what. Like, in my head, I don't even know what Guam is. It's just like rainforests and a hut, maybe. Like, that's what Guam is to me.
Well, I mean, Hawaii. Like when I try to describe it, I usually just refer to it as like Hawaii light because it's just like it's an island. It's a great island. It's way smaller than Hawaii. It's like if you look at a globe, it's just like a little teeny dot. Like the word Guam on the globe is bigger than the actual island.
Right.
So, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's just an island, really, a far away island, but
Yeah.
an island nonetheless.
And then, like, how many people were in your high school?
Ooh,
I mean, was it big?
not too big. I mean, like I think maybe like 200 graduated in my class.
So if you, I mean, so these Guam, so take me, you go through high school, you're doing wrestling because,
That was the only thing I was good at.
but was it because pro wrestling, or was it just like, I probably would be
Well,
good?
I started because of pro wrestling, and I stuck with it because that was the only thing I was good at.
Right.
and it got me to do something instead of just going home and
something. To do.
Yeah.
And then, so were you the best in your school, and then your conference, and then just everything?
Not until like my probably my like end of junior, start of senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
you started realizing that you were just better than people, or you just started?
Yeah, like it was one of those weird things where it's like I'm like my senior year. I remember just like, oh, who you got today? Oh, like the other guys would be like that towards me, and I was like, hey, how you doing? I'm weighing in.
Well, I mean, when you go on to start fighting for the Olympics, is it like that's obviously like you're the best on the island, right?
Yeah.
So are there like people that are like legends, or is it just because there's so little people that like it's weird because it's weird that I'm sitting in the room with this guy that's just been in the Olympics who's very humble, and I can't put a measurement on like if you were really good or you just like you found a loophole on how to go to the Olympics because you're from Guam.
I think there's a little bit of both because I mean, well, like it's such a small island, but for the Olympics you had to have qualified in your island and then or your country, then you had to qualify through your region, and there's like 5 different regions in the world, and there's just a whole bunch of qualification process that was pretty rough, but yeah.
And so and you just
yeah, I
how many people represented Guam
for wrestling?
Yeah.
The year there's like 4 of us that went to try to qualify in my year.
Is it just 1 through 3 and then you don't know like what did you finish in the Olympics?
19th was my official place.
Out of how many people?
There was 22 in my weight class.
So that's pretty shit.
Yeah. But when you take into consideration that they take the top 22 out of 202 sovereign nations. So the 20 they took the top 22 qualifiers out of 200.
Oh, so a lot of people didn't even have a wrestler on a team.
Yeah, they can't take one from every country.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would just take forever. No, they took like for qualification standards, like if you went to that year's World Championships, if you place in the top 10, you automatically qualify your country for.
Hey, I heard there's all this the Olympic Village sex. What's going on with all that? I didn't. Nobody partook with me. No one offered.
No, because they look at your little badge and you're like, ooh, wrestler. Guam?
But is that? Come on, is that a thing? Like that's
a thing.
People are just banging like crazy.
Yeah,
right?
they're like the there's that little thing about the Olympic condoms and
right.
and they were just gone. They were always
like 200,000.
They were always like they're kind of full in the mornings and gone by the afternoons. Yeah. I was trying to collect every color just so I can.
So you can use them as balloons.
No. I'm a collector, man.
Are you?
I like to collect stuff.
What do you collect?
Right now, action figures of people I've wrestled who have action figures.
Okay,
and I put them on my wall. I have 3.
Who do you have? Bobby Lashley.
No. People. I actually get them to sign it.
Okay.
So right now I have Marty Scurll, Pentagon Jr., and Dr. Wagner.
Does Pentagon Jr. have like a Mexican one?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I found it on the streets for
in Mexico.
It was like $3.
Did you wrestle in Mexico?
Yeah.
When?
I did Mexico City with the AAA, Mexico City with the Crash, and Tijuana with the Crash.
Oh, very nice. So. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty fucking cool that you did the Olympics. You didn't have sex. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
Man, there's those stories. I want to know everything, but I'm not good enough. I couldn't make it to the Olympics. And woe is me, I understand. So we talked a little bit on the live one that you thought about going to 2008, but you didn't. You wanted to go into pro wrestling instead,
right?
Which is still wild to me, but I get it. You got to start this fucking thing sometime, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just figured like if I did because I started training in 2009, and like my path for me to start pro wrestling training would have been totally different than if I went and tried to go back to the Olympics. Because if I qualified, then I wouldn't have moved back to Hawaii after I graduated college. Like I would have gone to after I graduated, I would have gone straight to training for 3 to 4 months, done the Olympics, and then who knows where that would have taken me after that. So,
right.
and it would have taken me off this path that I'm on right now. So
you decided to move back to Hawaii to train to wrestle.
Yeah, well,
That's weird because you got to know there's nothing going on there.
well, there actually was. Like I remember,
I mean, there was, but you got to know that like no one's ever going to make their break staying in Hawaii.
well, yeah, I thought of that at the time, but well,
Especially if you're willing just to move anywhere.
okay. So originally, I graduated college, and then I was going to go back to get my master's.
Where'd you go? Guam University?
I went to Missouri Valley College in Missouri.
Oh,
actually.
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were in the States?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, not that you're not in the States. You were in the mainland.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was going to come back to get my master's, and at the same time, I was looking at Harley Races School.
Mm-hmm. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
So why didn't you do that?
The program I was coming back for ended up telling me halfway through summer that, we went a different route and we hired somebody else.
What do you mean the program?
So women's wrestling. I wanted to come back and coach. And
You wanted to Joanna man this and be in women's wrestling too?
women's wrestling coach.
Okay.
There's a I think I would have won, hopefully.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so I was going to do that and then go to Harley's thing,
Mm-hmm.
but that fell through. So I was stuck in Hawaii. And then I was like, well, you know what? I'm here. I might as well figure out what. Like, I didn't have a backup plan. That was my first plan.
Right.
And that fell through. So I was kind of like, well, crap.
But it's like, I got to fucking start this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then I found a job as a personal trainer. Well, at first I wasn't a personal trainer. I was like in a kids club. Mm-hmm. So I was watching kids and.
But whatever, at the gym.
Yeah.
Learning
So free gym membership.
Right.
And then
And immersing yourself in the pro wrestling or no?
not yet. I was flipping through channels. I remember watching it when I was in Hawaii that there was local Hawaiian wrestling. So I ended up finding it, and they had a show.
Wait, so it took you flipping through channels, not just going on the internet?
No, I barely could work my computer.
Really?
I'm horrible. I'm horrible at
God.
technology.
All right.
But so I found one, and they actually had a show that Saturday. But I didn't have a car at the time, so I had a bicycle. So I ended up biking, I don't know, it was like 12, 13 miles or something to watch the show.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Of course.
I enjoyed it.
Who was on top?
Bobby the Lightning Bolt at the time. He was the AZW heavyweight champion.
Nice.
Name dropping. You owe me money every time I say that. But yeah, so he was in the main event, and I paid my $7 to go in.
Okay.
Watched it. Was interested, so I started asking questions a little bit. And
Who are you asking? Was anyone who would walk around?
no, I kind of knew who because he was running the door. So he was the promoter and owner, and he was running the tickets when you came in. So.
Right. So what did you do? But you were like creeping. Like, what was your plan to go ask this guy how to?
I don't know. Well, I went there with a plan because I wore my college wrestling team shirt that was a little bit small, so I looked kind of jacked,
Right.
and I walked in just like,
Hoping someone noticed you.
yeah. But I just went over. I was like,
Oh, that
hey,
guy looks like a wrestler. Oh,
Yeah.
he should be a wrestler.
I just, I talked to him a little bit, like, how do I get in this kind of thing, and he gave me his number. So,
So what? Then you bike to training every day for the rest of your life?
No, well, I actually didn't start yet because this was actually way cheaper than when I originally inquired back in 2000 in Hawaii. So,
Okay.
So I had to save up some money because I wanted to pay everything up front. So.
Gotcha. With what theory? Just get it over with?
Yeah, because it was cheaper, lump sum.
Right. And so then you started training.
Yep.
Who was your trainer?
At the time, they had a head trainer, but I learned from everybody really.
Just the whole
He
team?
yeah, it was just like, hey, just run the ropes and do 500 squats. I'm like, oh man.
Right. But were your fundamentals good or like?
The basic, like I had good footwork because I just got out of college wrestling. So
Yeah, but just the idea of like, was that, and I guess you don't want to shit on anybody, but like, was that scene like good enough to like get you ready to be a first match wrestler? You know what I'm saying?
I think so. I mean, because I did my first match in 6 months, and the guy no-showed, and the promoter was like, "Hey, you got your gear?" I was like, "Yeah," which I did, and I had my wrestling shoes. That's pretty much it.
Sure.
And he gave me his old biker shorts, and that was my first gear for like a year.
And what'd you wrestle as?
Jeff Cobb.
You didn't have a gimmick. I guess if you're,
Yeah, I didn't have a gimmick, man.
did you in your head like were you like did you have something that you were gonna be? Ever?
Not really. Like, I mean, I played with it throughout the years. Like, I thought heavily, like, oh man, this could be my interest music and all that, and like, what could my character be, whatever. But yeah, I never really.
Did you ever think it would just be this, or did you just assume it would be this?
I kind of just wanted it to be like this because it was easy. And like it was like it's natural to me, I guess.
Right.
And,
So okay, so you do the Hawaiian scene for whatever, and the only one that ever came out of Hawaii was, you're gonna laugh when I say, I forget his name though. I want to say the Hawaiian Lion.
Ricky Steamboat.
No, the Hawaiian Lion.
Oh, yeah, he's in Arizona, I believe.
Yeah, I wrestled on a show with him.
Oh, okay.
But he's like 50 years old, I think.
Well, hopefully I surpass him.
Yes. No, but right. So that idea of like, I always say to some guys, something like, hey, you're stuck in California, you won't be able to get out. Hey, you're stuck in like, whatever, Maine or Florida. These are the hard places to get your name out of. Like Chicago, you could travel all around, or the New York. But Hawaii is an island, and like, right. So it's like you're never going to get out of Hawaii.
Right.
So did you realize that?
I realized it in 2012, and it just so happened that we came up on a trip to San Francisco to wrestle at All Pro Wrestling.
Who's we?
Myself and 3 other guys.
Okay.
So we came up and we was like,
tell me the plan. So how does that kind of?
So our promoter goes on vacation every February, March, and he was going up to San Francisco, and just out of curiosity, he just hit up a bunch of promotions, and the one that replied back to him was All Pro Wrestling. And he had an idea. I was like, hey, well, if I bring 4 guys, can we do like a best of 3 series? Call it the Pacific Cup Challenge.
Nice.
So
what a promoter.
Yeah. And so he's like, let's do it. So we came up, and it was a best of 3 matches, and it was tied 1-1. It came down to myself and the former AZW heavyweight champion against the current at the time APW heavyweight champion, Timothy Thatcher. Mm-hmm. And we had a match, and then the promoter
was you versus Tim?
Yeah.
Okay.
First time we ever wrestled. Mm-hmm. And the promoter was like, hey, listen, or the booker, I'm sorry. The booker was like, hey, listen, you got to get out of Hawaii. So he said.
So somebody read, and who was
John LaRocca.
Okay.
And he said, there's this great trainer out in Sacramento, California. His name's Oliver John. I think he'll be great with you, and he'll definitely help you up. So I thought about it. I talked to Oliver for a little bit, and then.
So was that the first because I know you said in 2012, but like, was that the first like him saying that to you? Was there something that like hit you? Was it something you like knew, or was it something like, oh shit, or am I doing this wrong?
I mean, I knew about it for a while. I didn't really like that. Right there was the big kick in the butt. Mm-hmm. Because I've done a couple of things prior, but nothing.
What
really,
do you mean?
Like my first year in, I flew out to Rahway, New Jersey, to do a TNA gut check.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt.
There you go. Sure, of course.
And then I did a trip to Canada or Calgary, and I was just like, you know what, I always thought about like getting out of here, but like that.
Like
trip.
in your head when I guess you thought like maybe TNA would see you and be like, oh, right? Like do you have dreams and like visions of like how
I did actually. I was like, man, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna wow them, I'm gonna get signed, and then I find out we're doing a 3-minute match.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Did you just kind of do it and go home, or were you like, guys, I flew here from fucking Hawaii? Like
I was upset. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed because I flew all the way over there to learn a lockup and to do a 3-minute match and a promo.
Oh shit!
And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was the gut check, not a sweet camp.
Yeah,
but essentially,
true.
right? You're going there. I mean,
I didn't know any better. I was in Hawaii, and I hear TNA has an open trial, so I sent him an email and clips, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, we want to invite you to this thing. I'm like, holy crap! Like I thought I freaking was the winner in Willy
won the
Wonka's
lottery.
Chocolate Factory, man. I was like, yeah, I got that golden ticket, man.
Did you try Tough Enough?
I actually did.
Yeah.
The one that Matt was on, Matt Cross, and all those guys.
The Stone Cold one?
Yeah. I applied for that. I got a call back. I applied again, or sent another video, and then I got one more, and then I didn't make that. Like I missed it by like one round, I guess.
Just videos from home. Then.
Yeah.
So you didn't get flown anywhere.
Yeah, because I had horrible videos. I was I was just like, I don't know how to do this. I just started filming random shit.
Oh God. And in your head, you're like, "This is great," but the producer's just like, "Jesus Christ!"
Like, delete. Let's
Right.
get rid of this guy. But
Okay,
yeah.
so he says, "Hey, go over to Oliver John."
Yep.
and it fucking hits you, and you're like, okay, I gotta change this up.
Yeah.
And so, what's your Hawaii life? Is it just like single dude in Hawaii doing nothing that you could just move over?
Yeah. For like the last couple months, all I did was just save. So I had a little nest egg when I moved.
And you knew, I mean, nothing. You weren't leaving behind. Was your family already in Guam?
Yeah, my family is still in Guam. It was just me in Hawaii.
Okay.
And I was living with my grandfather at the time because he was getting a little bit older and he needed help. So why not?
So I mean, nothing much to move away.
No.
I mean, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
like,
So what do you do? You
well,
moved
my
this-
car. I left my car.
Yeah, it's still there.
A sweet Kia Rio.
I'm sure.
It's wonderful.
Is it still there?
Not anymore. I think my cousin bought it from me for like $1,000, and it just went to shits. But it was wonderful. I love that little.
R.I.P.
car.
Kia Rio.
Cheap plug. Are we sponsored by them? Yeah.
We should be.
Yeah.
Jesus. And Jesus. I hope we're sponsored by Jesus. So you moved to
Folsom, California.
okay.
The reason why I
Train
moved
with Oliver John?
Yes, because his gym was like 2 exits from Folsom.
I didn't know
so-
he had a gym.
Yeah,
I didn't know he trained. I mean, I know Oliver John.
Yeah.
I didn't know he trained people.
yeah.
Okay. So what? You bought it? You rented a place? Did he help
Yeah.
you?
Oh, so he was working for like a construction company, but with apartment complexes and whatnot. So I asked him to send me a list, and he sent me a list. But I asked him, "Can you go for the cheapest?" So he sent me all the cheap ones. I was like, "Holy crap! $500 to rent a place?" I was like, "Yeah, what's this?" And I messaged him, and he's like, I called him. I was like, "Hey man, how's this one?" It's He's like, "Yeah, you don't want to live there." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I looked at it again. I saw another. I was like, "Hey man, what about this?" He's like, "Yeah, you don't want to live there." I was like,
This one's 510.
yeah. So I'm like, because I'm like, I don't know anything yet, so I just want to make sure I have a good nest egg or a good supply left of money. And so every 6 of them that he sent me, I don't know why he sent it to me if he doesn't want me to live there.
Well, it's like Kikutaro. He moved here to America,
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, I found a cheap place in Gary, Indiana, for $200." And I don't know if you know Gary, Indiana, but it's the murder capital of the world. Yeah. So
Maybe you shouldn't go there.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, why do you think it's $210, Kiku? Like, you don't want to live there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he gave me a list of places not to go, like street names and avenues.
Right.
So
But you couldn't. There wasn't like I always wonder about that. There isn't like a community of like wrestlers who maybe have an open apartment or an open.
I didn't
room.
really know anybody at the time.
Right,
Like,
but you'd think if like someone asks you to move to somewhere and someone like he'll say like, "Hey, anyone?"
Well, they're in the Bay Area, and I was moving to Sacramento. So
Okay.
it's like
Well, how come he told you to move there, and not to the Bay Area? Because San Francisco's so
'cause
expensive.
Oliver's better. He was a better trainer.
Okay,
But yeah, I mean, it worked out.
they
in the
had a
end.
school.
Yeah, they did. But maybe he thought Oliver was better.
Yeah, fair
Which is better because like it was a one-on-one setting. It wasn't because all pro wrestling has that curriculum. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it works obviously, but I mean,
Right.
like that nice one-on-one setting was great.
Okay, and do you credit him for a lot of stuff?
Oh, I definitely do. Yeah, because like when I first I thought I knew everything when I was in Hawaii.
Did you really?
Yeah, I thought because I was pretty decent, I guess. I mean, and then I wrestled Christopher Daniels in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, like you do great shit, but it doesn't make sense."
Gotcha.
And I'm like, "You're right."
Oh,
Yeah.
that was one of those eye openers. Right?
Yeah, it was like I mean, yeah, it made me realize like man, maybe I'm not as good as I think.
What
I
did you
am.
did you think like he was going to come back from the match and be like, "You're the fuck," like
Like you're great. I don't know what D'Lo Brown thought of you in TNA, but
because I was thinking like when you said that gut check that like I remember like a video of D'Lo Brown like telling people like in those 3-minute matches, and it's so funny that was probably the exact one I was thinking about too. I'm sure we can go back and see you like in the background like
sad face,
yeah.
pineapple hair. Flew all the way over here for this, but yeah.
So Chris, so Daniels, that's so because he's the best. Like he's the.
Oh, he's wonderful.
I mean,
man.
but he's like king veteran. Like what he says goes. It's the real deal. He's not gonna lie. Like if he says you have great stuff, but you need to know how to put it together, that means you have great stuff and you need to know how to put it together. Like he's not sugarcoating anything. Like he's not lying to you. That's how it is. Right. Yeah. And so that you figured it out with that, huh?
Yeah. And then I came over to California, and then Oliver definitely helped me out with like certain aspects that we didn't know about in Hawaii, like how to pretty much why we do stuff and certain things. So,
And then, I mean, I know you said, you credit Hero a lot.
yeah, so like Hero, because he kept pushing for me to come to places, even though I never wrestled him.
Really?
Yeah.
He creeped on you?
Well, because I was actually supposed to wrestle
Come on,
him.
that was kind of funny. Nothing?
Yeah.
He's creeping on? Okay.
He's creeping on me. No, he's
Okay, go on,
looking
sorry.
through my window and whatnot.
Yeah.
But no, I was supposed to wrestle him in All Pro Wrestling, but I was in Orlando for a tryout at the time, so I missed that booking
For what?
for WWE.
So how did that work? You're training with Oliver John.
Yeah.
And then what? You go one of those where you pay the grand, or they?
No. I just went on WWE Recruit and put my thing down, and yeah, they contacted me and said, "Hey, would you like to come out for a tryout?" I was like, "Heck yeah!"
So you did the week tryout?
3 days.
Okay. Who was there? Was anyone there that made it?
Yeah. Rich Swan, No Way Jose. I believe his new name is Montez Ford.
Okay. So when you go down there and you see that these guys are getting signed and you don't get a call back, how does that work?
I was kind of bummed because they pulled 8 of us to the side and did little individual videos and whatnot, and asking questions and whatnot, and taking pictures, and then they signed 6 of them. Like, cool.
Again, you got 22nd place.
19.
Yeah, that's the equivalent. Sorry.
Yeah.
19th place.
So I mean,
who's the other one that didn't get signed with you?
He was a Tongan guy from the Bay Area,
Okay.
Sione Finau, but he had a knee problem, and I mean, he was
So he had neat. So, but you were great. You were good to go.
yeah. So technically, I didn't finish 22nd. I was 21st.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, that's and then Mr. Canyon over there was like, hey, think about doing a Tough Enough revival. They want to keep you interested. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do a Tough
Did you
Enough.
say that to him?
No, in my mind I did.
Right.
But I was like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, so stuff. It's interesting. It's that's how it goes. It's even flows. It's there's a little up, and then it's just, oh wait, let me take this this carpet away from you. And I get and to be honest, that's what wrestling is well, do you move forward and do you continue to push, or do you just give up because they said no to you?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm not gonna mope. I mean, I was bummed. I was heartbroken
Of
because
course.
I thought the one shot I had, I was like, I can get this, and
That wasn't the one shot, because the one shot was the gut check. You know what I'm saying? But in your head,
Yeah,
it's the
you're
one
right, you're
shot.
right, yeah.
And then there's the next time. Here's the one shot, and then boom. Okay, so and then so finally Chris gets you. So he was going to wrestle you. So he'd probably been studying you, maybe, or watching matches.
yeah, probably. And then we were on the same show together in Reno, where he I didn't wrestle him, but he was on the main event, and he watched my match, and then we just started talking.
Were you wrestling, and did you have a job, or did
I
you,
had a job at the time.
what were you doing in California?
I was doing security work at a high school.
Okay, just one of those miserable.
Yeah, that and personal training at a 24-hour fitness.
I think security work at a high school has to be one of the most miserable jobs ever, because it's you're reliving your high school years, probably.
Well, I was at a. Well, it wasn't a big school. It was a continuation high school. So it was all the kids that got kicked out of a quote unquote normal high school.
Yeah.
So it was a population of 60.
Okay.
So we knew everybody, knew all their problems. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to be sympathetic to them. You can't just be like, shut up, suck it up.
Yeah.
I did that a few times. Please, well, I can't fire me. But
You're ready. I can't fire me. I'm ready to go.
I'm gone already. So.
In my head, I'm already in the WWE. Don't worry about it.
Pretty much I quit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. And then, so it all kind of takes off with PWG, probably, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Lucha Underground thing happened before.
Oh, okay.
A year prior, but I mean, it was definitely because I mean, with the Lucha Underground thing, no, you can't really see me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. How I don't know. Did those two scratch each other's back? The idea of that, people kind of knew you, and then Jeff Cobb started doing good, and then. But people still kind of were figuring out that character.
I mean, there's some where was I at? On oh gosh, I was something it was summer this weekend. I think it was PWG. They're like, I didn't even realize that was you. I was like, well, it's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I still get like people every now and then. I'm like, man, I didn't know it was you. I'm like, well,
But maybe even not from the fans, but kind of like from the inside of like the inner circle of
oh, okay, yeah, like of wrestling.
And
Yeah.
promoters and people talking to each other.
Well, still, like some promoters still don't even know.
Still don't,
yeah,
right.
they don't put two and two together. They just think like it's a mask. It's like we have the same damn moveset. Like,
You couldn't even be bothered.
yeah. So, but
Matanz is just a big Jeff Cobb fan.
yeah,
That's what it is.
It's like he has nothing in his cell but a bed, a toilet, and a laptop with internet access, Wi-Fi, and the best of Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
Betamaxes.
And I was going to say I've added some Betamaxes. Are you able to make a living with this?
Yeah, I'm living comfortably right now, so I'm happy.
Is that where you? I don't know. I want to say like, were you blown away a little bit by it, or like, do you recall that idea like when you start counting your money, you're like, wait, I have enough for rent.
Actually, yeah, no, yeah, like it was probably the beginning of last year, and I was like, it's slowly getting higher and higher. And I was like, man, like if I do that, because I don't buy elaborate stuff, man.
Just simple.
I don't have a Kia. I upgraded from a Kia.
Nice.
Though. I have a Toyota now.
Hey, now.
But yeah, so like I mean, I don't need much. I'm happy with what I got. So yeah, I mean, I just counted, like did the math, and obviously from tonight you can tell I'm not a good math dealer.
A math guy.
Yeah, I'm not a good mather. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it was wonderful. Like where I was just like, you know what? I don't need the stress of having a date, like a Monday to Friday job where I have to rush back home and just be like dead tired on Monday and Friday. So I was like, you know what? I can leave my job and I'm happy. I'm happier.
Yeah. Although I feel those are like, it's such a, for people who are lucky enough to do it, it's such an interesting time because you think about it, like when you get to the point where you're good enough or successful enough on the independents as an independent wrestler to just do it full time, that means that you've been working a lot and doing it a lot. And so if you're doing it a lot and you're also doing a job to make money, like there's that spectrum point where you're doing a real job, but then you're also booking and doing so much travel where you're also working. So it's just like it becomes this crazy schedule,
Right.
where it explodes.
Yeah.
But that point before it explodes has got to be, and I'd love to like look back at like almost everyone who's done it, like how crazy busy they were before they said, fuck it, I have to only do wrestling because it's
Yeah, because I was doing that for like a whole year, and I was just like, and I was going crazy.
it's no sleep.
Yeah.
It's right because you're getting popular and you're getting booked up and you're trying to work as much as
Yeah,
possible.
like I would work straight through with no breaks on a Friday, just so I can catch like a 2:30 flight out of Sacramento to Chicago, and then change in an Uber on the way to AAW or something. And I was like, I can't do this, man.
right, and then you get back on a Sunday and you maybe have like an hour to do all your
Yeah, and then because like I would always get back to Sacramento like at 11 o'clock at night. It's a 30-minute drive home, shower, decompress. And I'm like, well, it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I got to get up at 6:30.
yeah,
So
and
it's
you got to
rough.
squeeze the gym in there.
Yeah, I usually do it after work, but well, now I can do it.
Right, but like
Yeah, so,
but then if you're working, yeah, it's just nuts. It's
yeah,
nuts.
it's a rough schedule, but I did that for about a year where I was like getting more bookings and traveling, and it was just like I did it for a year, and I was like, man, I don't know why I'm doing this, like because I never really gave wrestling a full go at it until like this year. So I was like, like I got to give it a go,
We'll see where it. Yeah. I mean, listen. That was for me. I was 23, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just see how long I could do this. That's full time.
Yeah.
So that's independent wrestling. It's 14
worked
years
out good
later,
for
or
you.
whatever. Yeah. So cool. And that's what you're on. You're on that path, and it's interesting. Like you said, Mexico. I know you went overseas, so you're doing all the right things. You're hitting all the right places. And are you much of like are you just a go with the flow Hawaiian man, or
a part of me is and a part of me isn't, because I know my window is not as big as some
do you
people.
think about that?
Yeah, I do actually, because like I'm like like will WWE want me when I'm 37 or 38? It's like it's very rare,
I mean, you're in an interesting time now where when I was 27, they didn't want you if you were 28. And now, Austin Aries is 40 and on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or they seem to not give a fuck.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm very lucky because like nobody thinks I'm 34.
Right. Sorry that I outed you.
I know. Thanks, Colt. Jeez.
But I mean, it's a good time for, someone like you in that kind of situation where, right, 10 years ago, you would have been done.
Yeah.
If that was something that if you wanted to do or you wanted to go.
Well, I heard that rumor like a couple of years ago. They didn't want anybody over 30 and.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Or and you had to be 6'2",
yeah.
and you had to be 235.
No word. Well, I got the 235.
Right. But but that's been stages for years. That's how it's gone, is like what they'll look at and what they'll do. But right now it seems like a good time. And you'll do whatever you want to do, but I'm just saying that stigma, and I think it's so great that stigma is gone, and it's always been just like whoever's as good should be the ones that are that you use,
because it should be the cream that rises to the top,
yes.
right? And then you scoop them up and take them,
of course,
yeah.
From the man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talk about WWE, like that's not the end all be all, but
of course,
yeah.
But I get it. The idea of even that's still in my head. It's like the idea of like, well, you just want to be able to say like that. You'd like to think that they'd want to use you because you're good, because that you grew up watching them and they were always the best. So like you want to think that like you're at least considered in the best of the wrestling.
Yeah.
The best of the wrestling people.
Yeah.
So like, of course you don't have to make it. Of course you can make a living. You don't have to make it there, or of course you can make a living anywhere. But in your head, you're like, well, would I be good enough? And then you look at the roster and you're like, yeah, I've wrestled all their guys. And I've taught some of their guys, like, so it's like, yeah, I'd be able to hang or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I guess it just comes down to at the end of your career, like, do you need that to validate your career,
Sure.
Like, it's like, like Dan Marino never won a championship in football, but people still think he's like top 10 probably.
Well, I was going to make a Ace Ventura joke, but I just...
But the laces were...
laces were... and then an interesting thing, there was a guy named Kevin Quinn who worked in Chicago, who like helped train kind of my trainers. And I remember being at the gym with him, at the real gym, and him being like saying that like that's where everyone goes like when they were old. Like you do your whole career and you have your fun, and then you finish your career at WWF. Like kind of like think about like Harley Race, how he like did everything and then he just became the king and had those later runs, like, and I remember Regal saying that too. Like I remember him telling like Daniel Bryan that like a lot, being like, have fun, travel the world, you could do this at the end. But it's hard because if you make that gamble and at the end they don't want you, then you don't get to do it.
Right.
So
we'll see where
something to think about.
We'll see where life takes us.
Yeah, of course. Where you at on the internet?
On the interwebs, I am at on the Twitter. I'm getting better at that, by the way. Twitter machine. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were getting better at saying Twitter.
Oh,
you said it awful.
The Twitter. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Mr. Athletic J Cobb, and the Instagram Jeff Cobb, Facebook Jeff Cobb, YouTube Jeff Cobb. Jeez. So I don't forget stuff. It's still
Pro
easy.
Wrestling Tees.
Pro Wrestling Tees. I am on there. Jeff Cobb.
Perfect.
Just search me, because if you search Jeff Cobb, for some reason Matt Hardy comes up.
Really?
Yeah, it's like right next to mine.
Weird.
I don't know.
Are you broken?
Come on. No, I'm not broken, but he needs to help out some of us and save some T-shirt sales for us, man.
Right. God knows he did enough of those. I think he told me the number of the "Fuck That Owl" T-shirt that sold.
Jesus.
I was like, good Lord.
Well, I was on a show like we did that one at the South by Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I looked across. I was like, that's a long
stop.
line.
It didn't stop.
Didn't stop. And his freaking T-shirt pile did stop eventually.
Yeah, at zero.
Before the show started.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, I thought about that WrestleMania weekend where they must have made $1 billion, and then they went to WrestleMania and wrestled at WrestleMania.
Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, it was wild. But you're still taking. I mean, you take independent bookings. You travel
Yeah.
around the world. People can hit you up on any of those things, and you're doing it. And you're on the podcast.
Hey, I feel like I officially made it.
You're in.
Thank you, sir.
I'm trying to think of some asshole I had on this show. who I could say you made it with. You and Hornswoggle.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I like Hornswoggle.
I know, but he called me a dick once on the internet, so I hate him.
Ooh, on the interwebs even.
I know. How dare he? So you and Hornswoggle, you've made it.
Hell yeah. I'll take it.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
All right, aloha means goodbye. Jeff Cobb on the scene. I heard he killed it over there in Progress, killing it in PWG. I see him around. You should go check him out. Say hi to him. See him at a show. He's impressive. All right, before we get out of here, let's get into some plugs and
upcoming events.
All right, the best way that you can support ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW podcast /Colt Cabana, my storytelling podcast, Pro Wrestling Fringe, plus past archives of this show. They're ad-free, and they're on howl.fm/Colt. Use that code Colt. Get yourself a free month. ColtWrestling@gmail.com. My very public email. Maybe a promoter want to put me on your upcoming show or convention. I got a YouTube channel. Always throwing stuff up there. ColtCabana.com is my website. I got a P.O. box on there. You can always send me some fun stuff. Mike sent me a Subway gift card, and I put it to great use. Thanks, Mike. All right, upcoming events: Australia, June 16, 17, 18, 23, 24, Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, houseofhardcore.net. July 8th and 9th, Newport and Cardiff, Wales, tinyurl.com/comedy wrestling Newport and /comedy wrestling Cardiff. Saturday, July 15th, Marionette Park, Illinois, aawrestling.com. Saturday, July 22nd, Austin, Texas, WrestleCircus.com. Sunday, July 23rd, Gainesville, Florida, FestWrestling.com. Saturday, July 29th, Concord, North Carolina, I'm doing commentary, ROHWrestling.com. August 4th through the 27th, every single night, 10:20 p.m., Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Go grab tickets, edfringe.com. That is the show for this week. Huge thank you to Jeff Cobb for coming on the show. Thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone, Kid Russell and Matt Jenkins on the music, Dane Miller and Creaky with tech help. HighSpots.com are a sponsor. They have a VOD service. That's where you can see $5 wrestling and PWGs with Jeff Cobb. You can also get AMA knee pads, gear, mask, wrestling rings, so much. So great. OneHourTees.com. They help run ProWrestlingCrate.com. They help run ProWrestlingTees.com. That's the place where you can support your favorite independent wrestler directly. And TweakedAudio.com/Colt. The earbuds that I use get over 30% on free shipping just because you listen to this show. I think I said that so fast, I didn't even say 30% off. I just said 30%. You get the idea. Talking fast, moving, gotta pack, gonna go into a plane and travel for 28 hours. What to do? What to do? Well, I'll edit this fucking show. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll be doing. And I'll be talking to you next week about all my adventures for House of Hardcore in Australia. Should be a good one. This has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.
Did you forget, like, is this your carry on?
Yeah?
Does anybody, like, did go through, like, what is this shit?
Yeah, I get checked all the fucking time. Because they think it's, I don't even know. And then I have to, like, they're like, what are you doing with this microphone and stuff?
I'm a podcaster.